Hey everyone, welcome back to the Swiftly Sung Stories podcast. I'm Jen, your Swifty English teacher, and today we're tackling track 11 in my track-by-track analysis of The Life of a Showgirl. We are diving straight into Call It What You Want Part 2, aka Honey. In this song, our showgirl narrator redefines the language of love, one term of endearment at a time. But is there more to this track than this sticky, sweet title implies? We're going to find out together. In my last few episodes, I analyzed Taylor's prologue poem and the first 10 tracks of this album. My God, we're almost done. And that lays a lot of groundwork for understanding the themes that Taylor's exploring in these lyrics. So go check those out. In a lot of them, we're talking about how the life of a showgirl is really how the show gets in the way of the girl. And it's a theme we're going to see play out again in Honey. All of this content is available on my website if you want the text version with annotated lyrics. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find me wherever you get your podcasts and vice versa. Okay, let's lay a little bit of groundwork for the themes within Honey, and then we will roll into our dissection line by line. Welcome to Swiftly Sung Stories, where we unpack the Taylor Swift universe one era, album, and lyric at a time. Think of it like English class, but it's all Taylor Swift and none of the boring stuff. I'm Jen, your Swifty English teacher, and class is in session, so come on in and meet me in the margins. Before I go into detail, quick caveat, I'm not here to discover what Taylor Swift did. I'm not here to talk about her relationships. I only really discuss her personal life if it's pertinent to the lyrics. Everything I'm about to say is my opinion as a writer and an English teacher, and your lens is different, and that's what makes it great. I'm not claiming this analysis is fact or the only meaning, the only interpretation. I'm just going to point out different things and you can make your connections where you like. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So what's up with Honey? It's not really a standout song on this record, at least not for me. It's not super deep. It uses a lot of repetition. And while it's really, really catchy and beautiful, what is it really saying? Honey has plopped between Cancelled, which is a really scathing satire about cancel culture, and the title track, the final track, The Life of a Showgirl, which is about how the showgirl life isn't all that it appears. It's polished on the outside and bruised on the inside. So what purpose does Honey serve? To me, the song makes the most sense as a sort of updated version or a sequel of Call It What You Want from Reputation. There are, of course, the lyrical connections, Call It What You Want versus You Can Call Me Honey If You Want. Those are very similar, but these two tracks are also both second to last, with Call It What You Want being sandwiched between track 13, This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things, and the final track 15 on Reputation, New Year's Day. So within the overall narrative structure of each album, they're kind of wind down songs, right? Like she's taken us on this emotional roller coaster. And then in both Honey and Call It What You Want, she looks back on all of the lessons learned and reflects on how much she's changed before she closes out the story. I have an upcoming episode in my Taylor Swift 101 series, once I've completed Showgirl, that will really dive into how Taylor uses narrative structure in detail. So if you're curious about that, remember to subscribe so you don't miss it. It'll be a really interesting and detailed look about how she exactly takes us on these storytelling journeys through songs and through albums. So while Honey might not be the most emotionally hard-hitting song, it is revealing and it does serve a purpose. And that purpose is reflection. Look where I was before and look where I am now. And so the song structure she uses here is really reflective of that. Honey is an unusual song structure for Taylor. And I think that's part of why this track doesn't feel maybe as impactful as others. It begins with an intro, and then it goes directly into the first chorus. I point this out because I think it does fit within the theme of this song, which is switching it up, feeling brand new, changing and growing, and redefining what love should feel like. She hasn't stuck with her old way of doing things here, her tried and true song structure, because these characters in Honey are also entering a new era and a new way of life and love. So it makes sense that she's switching up even the format of her writing here. Okay, so let's get into it line by line. There's a short intro in which our narrator says, "You can call me honey if you want, because I'm the one you want." So she's setting up the central metaphor that will run throughout the song. Honey and other terms of endearment will come to mean different things as this track goes on. But from the jump, these lyrics remind us of, so call it what you want, call it what you want to. And it almost feels like a reply or an answer, right? Like, call it what you want. You can call me honey if you want. Call It What You Want is about not needing to put a label on a relationship or a period of her life. And in the lyrics, she goes through all of the things that you can call it: hiding, running away, a love bubble, a rescue. You can call it anything what you want. But here, she does label it honey. You can call me honey. And in the larger character arc of Taylor Swift, it feels like she's moved from uncertainty or from the unknown to the other end of the spectrum, to feeling sure, because she is sure. You can call me honey if you want, because I'm the one you want. So she's saying, you can call me this because I know you mean it. So she's gone from, I don't know what this is, but I know I want it, to, I know what I want, and it's you, and I know that you want me. There's no more doubt or waffling or eschewing labels. It's sincerity and security, and she's 100% sure. She then goes into the first chorus. When anyone called me sweetheart, it was passive-aggressive at the bar. So here's our second term of endearment, or second label for your partner, and she's going to list a few in the song. Sweetheart can be a term of endearment like honey, but in her past experience, it was used like mean girl ammunition. She remembers being on a night out at a bar and some girl sarcastically calling her sweetheart, which was meant to cut her down or demean her. And the bitch was telling me to back off, she continues, because her man had looked at me wrong. So she juxtaposes sweetheart with bitch, and this is purposeful. They can both mean the same thing depending on the context in which they're used. So this past use of sweetheart, a woman at the bar was angry because her man had looked at me wrong. This woman is using sweetheart when she means bitch, which sets up this theme of covert and double meanings that will run throughout the rest of the song. That's the shtick of honey, terms of endearment that can be genuinely endearing, or they can be demeaning. If anyone called me honey, she goes on, it was standing in the bathroom, white teeth. So she flashes back to this other scenario where a term of endearment was used to shame her. Here it feels like maybe we're in a high school bathroom where this gaggle of mean teen girls with these fangs of white teeth speak in daggers. They were saying that skirt don't fit me, she recalls, and I cried the whole way home. So she remembers being shamed for the way she looks, which is incredibly high school coded. But this last line feels familiar. I cried the whole way home. Feels a lot like the girl in the dress cried the whole way home. This time it's the girl in the skirt, but both times she's made to feel small and insecure. Both times she's wearing something that symbolizes innocence or femininity, a dress versus a skirt. And these are really moments where that innocence is lost. So because of these incidents in the past, she's developed these kind of Pavlovian responses to words like sweetheart and honey. They were only meant to shame her, but now they're coming to mean something different. It all changes. And then she tells us exactly how it changed. But you touched my face, redefined all of those blues when you say honey. So this face touching imagery feels incredibly intimate. And what she really means is, you've touched a part of me that no one else has been able to reach. All of those blues, the insecurities, the doublespeak, the bullying, it's all in the past, because when this person calls her honey or sweetheart, he's being truly intimate. And we know it's true intimacy because it's displayed in this really simple face-touching imagery. He's really seeing her. So to redefine all of those blues is to take these moments where honey and sweetheart were weaponized and to erase them or rewrite them. She'll no longer have this shame trigger when she hears those words directed at her. Going into the first verse, she begins with some more romantic imagery. Summertime spritz, pink skies. We are 13 lines into the song, by the way, and we've only just reached the first verse, so this is quite an unusual structure. So summertime spritz is this lighthearted, cheerful vibe, and then we get pink skies, which is the opposite of those blues that she described previously. This is optimism emerging from her past pessimism. But if pink skies sound familiar, they should. It was a big part of Lover, both the album and the era, which symbolized this new positive outlook. It's the same vibe here. But this whole section also feels really similar to Invisible String from Folklore, Time, Curious Time. gave me the blues, and then purple pink skies. So she's using sky imagery and metaphors to describe moving from a stormy time of life into this clear, smooth sailing, happier time. And she also uses this sky clearing language in opalite. So it's a recurring motif through this album, and it shows up quite a lot in previous albums as well. She goes on and names another color, wintergreen kiss all mine. So she's contrasted summer and winter, summertime spritz, wintergreen kiss, with this kind of seasonal weather imagery. Taylor usually uses winter as a metaphor for a time of deep reflection and sometimes depression. Think back to December or gray November. I've been down since July. But here, winter is depicted as crisp and cool. He's rewritten winter as well. We can imagine a wintergreen kiss as someone chewing wintergreen gum. So it's romantic and it's refreshing. And it's definitely not the same depressive winters as before. And it's all mine, which means there's no games, there's no back and forth. There's just trust and love. And she then expands on that, gave it different meaning because you mean it when you talk. The subject of this line, I think, is honey. So she's saying he gave this label a different meaning because he means it sincerely. But there's also a larger meaning of you gave love a different meaning, not just the word honey, because you're not playing games. There's no hidden language or speaking in code in this relationship. He says what he means. And when he says honey, it means you're sweet, you're mine. Honey, I'm home. We could play house, she continues, which pulls in this kind of 1950s nuclear family coded phrase. To play house is usually a childhood game where kids make believe happy family. But it seems she has some more adult appropriate games in mind. We can bed down, pick me up, she goes on, which uses two double entendres. To bed down means to get an improvised bed set up, like during camping. But bed down here refers to naughtier bedroom activities. And then there's pick me up, which we can also glean a couple different meanings from. There's come pick me up, like come collect me and take me home. And then there's being picked up in a womanizer sort of way, like a pickup artist. And then there's being literally picked up and carried, which I think is what she's talking about here. So after she's picked up, she asks, who's the baddest in the land? And this alludes to Snow White's evil queen, who asks her magic mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Here she's more of a good queen, but she's kind of asking who's been a bad, bad girl in like a naughty, flirty way. But here they're both the baddest in the land, as in naughty in the bedroom, but also as in badass, like powerful and potent both together and separately. What's the plan, she asks. And then she quickly answers herself, you could be my forever nightstand, honey. So she's wondering what their future holds, like what's the plan for our life, and then answers herself, wherever you go, I will follow, or wherever I go, you're coming with me. But I think this line is my favorite. Forever nightstand is a play on one night stand. It's permanence versus impermanence. He'll be her forever nightstand or a permanent fixture in her bedroom in her life. And she's implicitly contrasting that with something temporary, a one night stand. It's a really clever use of language and I love it. Then the second verse repeats a couple of lines. You can call me honey if you want because I'm the one you want. And then she repeats, I'm the one you want again. And this repetition is reinforcement. There's no doubt that he wants her. It's security and fidelity. I'm the one you want. There's no questioning. There is no call it what you want. What he wants is her and the other way around. You give it different meaning because you mean it when you talk, she repeats. But by now we can tell it isn't just the word honey. It means intimacy, trust, connection, comfort. It really begins to mean you gave me an entirely new definition of love. We're also beginning to see that honey and sweetheart and any other term of endearment are just stand-ins for what she's really getting at, which is love. It's not just the term of endearment that's changed meaning, it's the endearment itself. Because here it does what it says on the tin. There's no pretense and there's no hidden agenda. He's redefined what love means to her because all the games are over. There's no back and forth. There's nothing up in the air. There's no call it what you want. All that uncertainty is gone. Sweetie, it's yours, kicking indoors, she continues. Take it to the floor. Give me more. And here the it of it's yours means everything, like all of her. Like she says in Death by a Thousand Cuts, my heart, my hips, my body, my love. In prior relationships, there may have been kicking indoors in, dramatic fights, but here it's playful. They can't wait to make it to the bedroom, or they would kick indoors to be able to reach or rescue one another. And then take it to the floor is another double entendre. It usually means to drive fast, like pedal to the metal. But here it has this sort of steamier meaning. And it's this passionate scene, right? Kicking indoors and needing one another so desperately that they can't even make it to the bed. And give me more is something you would utter in bed, but it also has a deeper emotional meaning. It's give me all of you because you have all of me. She goes on, by the paint in the color of your eyes. And remember, they're still playing house here, and she's imagining decorating this new space, and she wants it to look like him or to match him. This is similar to have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you. She's setting up this new life, and she wants it all to look like him. With this paint, she wants to graffiti my whole damn life, honey. She wants to be enveloped in him in every part of her life, both the showgirl and the girl. But this also reminds us of a much, much earlier song, Cold as You. You put up walls and paint them all a shade of gray. Here, it's the opposite. There are no emotional walls erected between them. And though she doesn't specify his eye color here, we understand that it's probably the opposite of a depressive gray. She wants to color drench her life in the color of him. She's all in other words. And she says this specifically in the prologue poem, if he's in, you are too. And though she doesn't specify color, remember that color symbolism is important in Taylor's universe. She wants her entire universe to be painted the color of him, whatever color that is. So even though she doesn't tell us what his eye color is, it still fits in the vein of this larger, long-running metaphor of her colors of love. She wants to color drench. She wants to color drench in him. Moving on to the final pre-chorus, though there's no official bridge in this track, this final pre-chorus really serves as the bridge, and it's the most vulnerable bit of the song, as Taylor's bridges tend to be. She says, when anyone called me late night, she's talking about her past lovers, he was screwing around with my mind. So whenever she'd get a late night phone call in the past, it was a booty call. And more than that, it was manipulative. These previous lovers didn't mean it when they talked, or they didn't say what they meant. They didn't want her. They wanted, maybe her body, or maybe the idea of her. Maybe they wanted the showgirl and were disappointed when they saw the girl underneath. Asking, what are you wearing? Too high to remember in the morning. So this past lover would call in a drug-fueled haze, trying to get into her pants. But it was all insincere, or it was all a game. And now that that's all over, it's heroin, but this time with an E. And when anyone called me lovely, she continues, they were finding ways not to praise me. So lovely, like sweetheart and honey, can similarly be used in this dismissive, demeaning way. I live in the UK, and I often hear the word lovely used as like, okay, now that's done, let's move on. Lovely. It's dismissive. So they used to call her lovely when they were trying to avoid any real intimacy or vulnerability. Instead of saying that was amazing or you are amazing, they dismiss her with this use of lovely, wiping their hands and walking away. It's either that, or they're commenting on her looks instead of her worth, her appearance instead of her contents. But you say it like you're in awe of me, she says. And you stay until the morning, honey. So not only does he use the word lovely as a real term of affection, but he uses it to express this sort of awe and admiration of her, both physically and emotionally. Instead of lovely, it's move on, it's you are so lovely. And he means it, and we know he means it because he stays. And this might seem insignificant, like of course he spends the night, but you stay until the morning really answers one of Taylor's longest running questions, which is, who could ever leave me, darling, but who could stay? And now the answer is right in front of her. You could stay. You could be my forever nightstand. The chorus repeats, and then she ends this track with a simple one-line outro,
but you can call me honey if you want. And we can insert any term of endearment here. She's saying, you can call me whatever you want because I know you mean it. It's not empty jargon. It is real, meaningful language. And it's this new language of love that's been redefined for her. It's call me what you want, she's saying, because this relationship has redefined the very language of love and relationships. That's it for my analysis of Honey, and let me know in the comments what you think of this track and what it means to you. That is the most important part of all of this. It's not what it means to me. It's not what it means to Taylor. It's what it means to you. So what's your favorite line? Please let me know. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss my next episode, where we are wrapping it all up and diving into the title track, The Life of a Showgirl. This is where we're going to tie all of those narrative threads together and reflect back on this album as a whole. So you won't want to miss it. Thank you so much for being here with me. It really means a lot. I'm just starting this channel, and honestly, it means the world to me that you watch or listen and engage. It's just everything. Thank you so much. See you next time.
That's it for this chapter of Swiftly Sung Stories. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please don't forget to follow, subscribe, or leave a review. It helps other Swifties find their way here. I'm Jen, and I had a marvelous time reading everything with you. See you next time.